SNF, her skilled nursing facility, was really stressful, and I feel like I just did an 8-hour shift. I was stocking shelves at Costco or something, equally physically and mentally exhausting. But it was just 3 hours, and now she's in her regular memory care place, and I know that she'll be happier there. And I feel that we did that. Another interesting thing that happened was that yesterday I woke up in a really bad mood. I know. I was surprised too. It does not usually happen to me. But instead of taking all these steps that I know I could have taken to make my day be happy and joyful, I just sat with it, and I just allowed myself to have a bad day and to be sort of grumpy and disgruntled and feeling squirmish inside. And I just took it as growth. As any time change happens, there's going to be moments of uncomfortability, and the only suffering I was experiencing was thinking that that should not happen. So it was, I really just tried to allow it to be. And, I knew I could exercise, I knew I could take a shower, I knew I could go get a cup of coffee, I could do all these things to change my mood, and I just didn't. And I am really okay with that. It was an interesting experiment, and yeah, so that was a little bit weird, and a way that I'm exploring my new self as I'm changing. I'm Kylegoing from bed. I'm really comfortable in bed, and I have a cat on me, and it's also a quiet room. I know my office, where I like to film from the most, is it's very woody, like all the floors are not carpeted, and so my voice is very loud, and I don't really need that so much because I'm already kind of a loud person to start with. So, anyways, Kylego. Let's go back. I know that I've talked about how my publisher offered me a huge amount of money, and that was really great. But I think I've determined how that actually happened. What happened was that I took this publisher, Stephen Malk, who has helped me in the past. I took him out to lunch and got some more ideas from him. And then I contacted the Sandra Dijkstra agency, which I would love to be also represented by. And I took her out to lunch, and I asked her for some tips and ideas and hookups that she might know. And together they were able to steer me in the absolutely right direction with someone who was just right for my book and just right fit for me. And this person is also really excited with not just my other YA books, of which I have several in mind, but also my nonfiction stories, my memoirs, my short stories, my poetry, my essays. I do recall that when I entered graduate school to be a writer, they had 4 emphases. You could be a poet, you could write fiction, you could write nonfiction, or you could do writing for young people. And I really didn't understand that you needed to choose one of those. I wanted to do all of them, and I still do. And even though I chose writing for young people, I got to take classes with professors and all the other disciplines, and that was really great. And so now I'm able to parlay my wide-reaching interests into actual books that people want to read, that are going to create for the world spaces for people to find themselves or find information or have a magical experience or understand something about the world and themselves that they perhaps did not understand so much before. I feel like in this group, the kinds of things that I want to do are perhaps more selfish. Like, everyone's videos are so loving and helping other people find their highest self, and as a writer, certainly I hope to provide moments of clarity, understanding, connectedness. Like E.M. Forster says, only connect. That's what I believe literature is here to do for us. But basically, selfishly or whatever, what I really am creating for myself is time to write. And as a person who's squarely in the middle of being an extrovert and an introvert, it's very difficult for me to pull myself away from the social milieu that calls to me almost all of the time, and lock myself in my room, which is what I need to do in order to write. It's really, one does not simply walk into Mordor. One cannot simply, write while you're watching TV and hanging out with your husband, although that would be kind of lovely to combine all those light feeling experiences. That is not how it works. You have to concentrate and you have to be by yourself. And I do remember a poetry guy I had at UC Santa Cruz who was like, if you're going to be a poet, you should be used to being a loner. You should be used to being alone. And I thought, well, that's one way to do it, but I don't know that that's really my way. So anyways, after getting my book published and after receiving the money and after negotiating all the movie rights and stuff, I've been, hanging out with the casting director. We've been looking at people, trying to find the right matches, and finding the house that we eventually moved into. And what was the best part of this is I did not have to pack a darn thing. I had enough money to pay people to move us. So great. And I could just spend my time doing more fun things and things that I really like to do. Of course, I pared down quite a bit. I'd gotten rid of a lot of extra stuff since we've been doing all this work together, and I've decluttered and let go of many books that I knew I would not be rereading. Let them go to the public library so that other people could enjoy them. True story, by the way. And one of the things that came out of all of this that I'm really excited about is this project that I've had in mind, which is that every child born in San Diego County will go home from the birthing center or the hospital, or we'll find out if there's a home birth, and they'll get this bookshelf of 100 books. And there will also be free workshops for the parents to attend, along with a book on how to use these books. Reading with your kid from its infancy. I mean, you should be reading to your child in the womb, in my opinion, but, I can only start where I can start, right? So anyway, it's 100 different books, and it starts from, very simple all the way through like 6th grade, and they're chosen on literary merit as well as diversity of authors and points of view and different kinds of approaches. Some are prose, some are more a verse kind of book. Some are picture books. Some are chapter books. They're all different kinds of literature. Some are graphic novels, because I really want kids to be exposed to all different kinds of text. And text and pictures is often a really great way. So anyways, I'm working with a couple of other ginormous foundations in San Diego to make that happen for all the kids born. And, some of the books are bilingual, different languages, mostly the Spanish bilingual ones, of course, but we also have Tagalog, and we also have, Somali, and some of the other larger immigrant populations who have come here to live. And I think it's just really great for kids to be exposed to other languages in a book, whether they can read them or not. It's interesting to see the text on the page and try and figure out what, how do you say that? What does that mean? And hopefully that's going to spur, a whole new movement starting in San Diego with people actually embracing bilingualism, trilingualism. I heard a joke the other day. What do you call a person who speaks 3 languages? Trilingualist. What do you call somebody who speaks 2 languages? Bilingual. What do you call someone who speaks 1 language? American. And I just think that's sad and pathetic, and it should not be that way. So I'm working to change that, and that is really great. And I find myself in this position where I have a lot more money than time, which is actually fine because I have so many ideas on how to spend that money that now I can hire people to keep creating my vision in other ways. And that feels really good because I'm a job creator. That's what I am. I'm a job creator. And I'm also contributing to the community around me. But I also have all this time alone to write. And of course I get to intersperse that time with doing school visits and doing workshops. And, I was also invited to my alma mater, Lesley University, to come do one of their 10-day residencies and work with students, and I actually put it off for a little while because I'm so busy, but I was, very touched, very flattered that they wanted me to do this. I've been appearing on talk shows. People want to know, how did you do this? How did you end up, being such a success in all these different areas of publishing? How is it that you have, a young adult book on the bestsellers list and a nonfiction book on the bestsellers list and, a fiction book and a memoir on the bestseller, all at the same time? That's really crazy. And all I could say was it just poured out of me. The time was right, and I had nurtured myself I had, created the space where, my sister and I decided to go work with this really awesome guy, Kyle Cease. And then we also met these other people who were really into transforming too through doing that. And we just all inspired each other, and we all just kind of like play off each other. And it's really great to have a community that's supportive like that. Another one of the things that I've gotten to do is really support the pagan community in San Diego. I made large donations to the Pagan Food Bank, and I'm just like raising their profile so that more people know about it as a viable option for people who love the earth. We can get together and we can celebrate full moons, new moons, dark moons. We can celebrate Lammas, and we can celebrate Beltane, and so that's one area that I've been really active in. And of course, in animal rescue, I've been able to give a bunch of money to the Feral Cat Society and to, all these rescue house, all these places that really need money, and they're doing very good work in trying to rehabilitate animals, get them adopted, they constantly need food and litter and, money to pay people and vet bills and all this stuff. And I'm able to do that, and I'm able to support, a couple of vets in doing what they'd like to do, which is, help animals that are truly in need and not just owned by possibly a hypochondriac or, Munchausen by proxy type of parents. So that's really great too. And and then they wanted me to come to a TED Talk, and that was really fun. That was very exciting. I love speaking to a room full of people. I really like reading my writing in front of a room full of people, and I've had a lot of opportunities to do that lately. So that's been really wonderful. How are we doing? We're doing pretty good. Okay. Just a few more minutes. What are the other wonderful things that have come my way? Well, my husband got to work a little bit less, which is really super great, but he still has plenty of money to spend on discs to go play disc golf, and he still has enough money that he feels really good about himself as a productive member of society. We get to totally buy all organic food now, which is really great. We used to just buy the Dirty Dozen and, thin-skinned fruits and stuff organic, and now we can buy everything organic, which is lovely. And so we cook, that's one of the things when I have so much free time and I can pay other people to do things that are kind of my responsibility. I don't always have to do that, but when I feel called, I can cook, and that's really fun because I like to cook and I love to create healthy food for my family. We already talked about my sister and I going on The Voice and being coached by Adam Levine. That was really great. My nephew and my husband were very proud, and so we do our singing thing, and who knew we were so talented? We just thought we were having fun, but it turns out we're really awesome. And what else? Oh, I think one of the things that I was able to do was creating these fairy workshops for kids where they can create little homes to put in their yards or their gardens so that fairies can come visit them. And my friend Chuck, he's in charge of that because he's really good at creating fairy houses. And so we take all these at-risk kids in first, second grade in all these schools, underprivileged schools, and he does this crazy art with glue guns and shiny pebbles, and he uses a lot of recycled materials, and he shows them how to create little special habitats for fairies, and sometimes they get used by wildlife, and so it's really great that they're made out of recycled materials and organic stuff like wood and sticks and flowers, mostly. Maybe some clay pots, pieces of clay pots to provide some structure. And so he got to quit being a waiter, which was really wearing on him and his body when he's a very creative fella, and he needs an outlet for that. So I was super happy to be able to sponsor that. And then just for myself, it's just really great to be able to go to these writers conferences, and I'm on the other side of the panel. I'm not the one asking questions, I'm the one answering questions, and trying to hook young unpublished writers up, and old unpublished writers up with great agents and publishers and stuff, bringing people together. That's something that I'm very gifted at, and something that I enjoy doing. It's kind of like matchmaking in the book world. Yeah, so I think that's good. That's good for Kylego number 2.